Alright, good afternoon, the Neil Brothers here with your MU review for Manchester United's Capital One Cup third round tie victory over Ipswich Town 3-0 at Old Trafford. I'm Liam, Matt is joining me again. How are you doing today, Matt?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, better after that result, I'm sure.
Yeah.
There had to be a few worrisome people, despite our good form, despite Ipswich Town's lowly status. I think there must have been some worries for us that we were going to have some sort of shock repeat to last season. Luckily, we were at Old Trafford this time, and I think that really helped. But no, we came through it quite well.
Yeah, no, we did. There were one or two moments where, I couldn't watch the game. I was listening to it, and there was one or two moments where we got a little bit shaky. But it was almost like somebody made a mistake, but we recovered well, and then we just got back on. Our good foot. And it was any time somebody made a mistake, we controlled, contained, and just went back to doing what we were doing, which is great. Because I've noticed, especially over the last couple of games we played, that when somebody makes a mistake, it takes us 5, 10, sometimes even 15 minutes to kind of get our rhythm back. Whereas today we seem to, after every mistake we made, we seem to re-establish our rhythm quite quickly, which is a good thing. It's a very good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think from the start, really, we had a positive lineup and a positive performance from the players. When you go into Capital One Cup games like the one we had last season, half the lineup didn't play for Man United again. I'm thinking Danny Welbeck, Shinji Kagawa. They were on their way out, and that's why That's why we ended up getting beat 4-0 by MK Dons, because none of the players wanted to be there. They knew their time was up, and they were just sort of playing out for the money. And this season we fielded a strong team. I mean, there was some concerns over, Louis van Gaal doesn't understand the whole concept of a League Cup. Louis van Gaal is a football manager and has been for decades. He understands the concept of a League Cup.
He understands the concept of it, he just doesn't like it.
I wouldn't even go that far. It's a cup competition. I think he definitely undervalues it, as any sane person would, compared to the Premier League and Champions League. But the big difference from this season from last season is that we now have a squad that is deep enough and fit enough to support challenging in 4 competitions. So we were able to see players like Smalling, De Gea, Blind, Schweinsteiger, Rooney maintain their starting places, but yet we still have the opportunities for those young players, because if you field all the youngsters, you're going to get beat, even by Ipswich Town at Old Trafford. You've got to integrate them into the team, and that's the sort of thing that Louis van Gaal is doing very well at the moment.
Yeah, no, he is. He's doing good. He obviously has an eye for the future. The buy of Martial, which we'll get to a little bit later on, was obviously, indicates that he is thinking about the next guy. And I think he fully expects the next guy to be Ryan Giggs, as do I. Yeah. So he's really just trying to build a team that, I think the goal is, if we could challenge for the Premier League title this year, and then possibly, win it next year, and that'll be his send-off, and then Ryan's going to pick up, and we're going to go from there. So to me, it's always made sense why he's kind of deprioritized the League Cup and the FA Cup in opposed to the Premier League and Champions League, because for him, that's he knows he has a finite amount of time at United. He's only got the 3 years, and he's not planning on staying longer than that. He wants to win one of those, if not both of them.
Exactly.
So before he goes, so that's why I think he's kind of a little bit blasé about the League Cup, because he's just like, I don't really care at this point in my career about a League Cup. I want a Champions League. I want another Champions League. I want to win a Premier League title, because I haven't won that yet. But he is thinking to the future. I mean, he showed that today by playing Pereira, who was absolutely fantastic. And
that sort of segues well into my next point, which is about Andres Pereira and how he had a really great game today. I was really impressed. I mean, he had a fantastic summer. He was one of the players who got taken on tour with us and really caught the eye of a lot of United fans who hadn't seen him play before. Obviously, if you're a little bit deeper into the inside United type stuff, you've obviously heard of these players coming through. But Pereira's one that's been on the horizon for a while, and it seems like he's finally coming into the team. And hopefully he can use this good performance and the great goal he scored, the fantastic free kick he scored. Hopefully he can use that to spur him on in the set to have a season much like Januzaj's season when he first broke into the first team. So that would be really good. Of course, you mentioned it there, the magic man, Anthony Martial. He scored 4 goals in 4 games, and I don't think I've seen a more clinical finisher in a United shirt since Dimitar Berbatov, maybe? I mean, you can argue that Javier Hernandez was a good finisher that first season when we signed him, but, he's always been a bit hit and miss. Anthony Martial's probably only had 4 shots in his entire United career, and it seems like he scored them all.
I mean, for me, if we're going to go with a clinical fit, I would compare him to Andy Cole.
I think we've had a few since him, though. To be fair, that's what I was saying was that we haven't had someone who could finish as well as Martial since, going backwards. But I understand the comparison.
But yeah, no, I'm saying, to me, he does remind me a lot of Andy Cole. He's not necessarily the quickest guy, and he's not necessarily the most well-known, but when he gets the ball at his feet, he's nigh unstoppable. I mean, it's just an absolute glorious thing to watch. I just hope he keeps it going. I really do.
I see the comparison to Louis Saha as well. I think he's another French striker who has a good eye for goal and had that turn of pace. But in all honesty, I mean, Martial being 19 years old, you don't want to get on any bandwagons. But, I mean, to be fair, before we even knew that he'd scored these 4 goals, I would still tip him to be a top player in 5 years' time.
Oh, exactly. I mean,
and the fact that he's playing so well now only bodes well for that, if you ask me.
And the deal we signed with Monaco indicates that we expect him to be as well, because I think as well, if he makes the France Euro squad, we have to pay him an extra 7 million. If he wins the Ballon d'Or, we got to pay him another 7 million. Just stuff like that. Yeah. It shows that United are fully expecting him to
No, that shows that Monaco are fully expecting him, because they're putting all these clauses in the contract. They're saying, hang on, if you're taking this future world-class player off our hands, we need to know that if he does indeed become world-class, we don't get shortchanged. And, considering the fact that we've paid 36 million up front for him, the fact that they're still worried about getting shortchanged just proves how much potential he really has. But, I mean, I'll admit the one goal I didn't actually see was the Wayne Rooney goal, because I had to watch it on a bit of a dodgy stream and it sort of skipped past it. But you had the comment during the game when you texted me and you said it seems like he can score in every competition but the Premier League. But goals in other competitions are goals. And as far as the striker's mentality goes, Wayne Rooney has 4 goals this season, albeit none in the Premier League. Anthony Martial has 4 goals this season in, 4 matches. And, 3 of those have come in the Premier League, but one of them's come in the Carling Cup. Goals are goals as far as I'm concerned. And Wayne Rooney's going to be happy to get them, and it's not going to hurt for him to get goals in other competitions. And the goals in the Premier League will come, especially with him, him being our captain. He's going to start every game that he's fit for, so he's going to score goals. I'm not worried about him.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not worried about him. I mean, when I made that comment, it was kind of sort of tongue in cheek. Was just like, he's in form in everywhere but the Premier League. But I mean, honestly, if Rooney doesn't score a single Premier League goal this year, and Martial nets like 15, and then Rooney scores all the way in the Champions League, I'll be fine with that. I mean, as long as we've got goals coming, if he's scoring in the Champions League, the FA Cup, the League Cup, but he's not scoring in the Premier League, I don't mind. As long as we're just scoring in general, we'll be fine. Yeah. And yeah, you're right. Rooney's one of these guys where once he starts scoring, once he does get his eye in, sometimes some seasons it takes him a little bit longer than others, but once he does get his eye in, he just doesn't stop. He turns into a goal machine. My only worry is that with Martial playing so well and being so clinical right now, Rooney's going to have to kind of take the back seat in the strikers role. They're going to have him drop back and play more.
I don't think that's anything to be worried about. I think that's actually beneficial. I think him being withdrawn and having the pressure taken off him, I think he scores more goals playing as an attacking midfielder centre-forward than he does playing as an out-and-out striker. So I don't think that's a problem at all.
Okay, well, I mean, as I say, that's just the one thing about Rooney that I was a little bit worried about. Was if Martial's form improves and Van Gaal keeps pushing him further and further back the field.
He's not going to push him any further back than
midfield, central midfield, and even then that's only going to be a dire situation.
Martial being in good form or not, he's not going to get pushed back any further than number 10. Like I said, he's the captain of the club. Right. He's going to start every game that he's fit for. And if that means he starts in number 10 because Martial's in good form, then he'll start in number 10. If Martial's not in good form, who can start him at number 9? But he will be on that team sheet. He's not the one who's going to change. Right. But we've sort of covered the game there. Who's your man of the match before we move on?
Oh, I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Andres Pereira. I mean, it was his first full senior debut for United, and honestly, I know he played. They were mentioning on TalkSport that he featured quite heavily for Brazil in the under 20 in their run to the under 20 World Cup final last summer.
He scored the goal in the final. They lost, but he did score.
And he was a pivotal member of that team running up. So he's obviously got some good experience. But I mean, he put on that shirt, and it honestly looked like he'd been playing for United. He played. This was just another day on the training ground for him. He didn't seem to be fazed by it at all, which is great. I mean, which is great when you're at a club like United. We have seen players, especially young players, come in and kind of get blinded by the lights and the noise and everything. But I mean, Martial and Pereira have both sort of taken it in their stride and just run with it, and I hope it continues. I really do. That could be our attacking future right there.
Yeah. I agree, absolutely. I mean, I was a bit disappointed not to see Lingard and Wilson today, but they played in the under-21s, and they'll have their chances. I have no doubts about that. But I do like the idea of when Januzaj gets back, Januzaj, Pereira, Lingard, Wilson. I mean, the odds of all of them breaking through, especially with Martial, being about their age as well.
He's not much older than.
Yeah, exactly. So the opportunities will be there. They may not be first team starters, in the next 5 years, but hopefully they'll still be Manchester United players, featuring in sort of the Darren Fletcher, Wes Brown, John O'Shea, other sort of players who came out of the academy who weren't David Beckham or Ryan Giggs. They were great players and they managed to have a great career at United. But that's talking into the future. My man of the match is Bastian Schweinsteiger. I mean, the guy's an absolute machine. He gave the ball away about twice in the entire 90 minutes. And he's infallible. And anyone who said that we overpaid for him, I'm sorry. Anyone who says that,
I'm sorry.
Okay, let me finish this, because this is the thing: is people were questioning the fact that we were signing him at all, not the fact that we paid whatever money for him, but the fact that the fact you're spending any money on a 31-year-old central midfielder apparently was. It was an issue that came up, and I mean, I never bought into it, and now he's just proving. They were talking about his fitness and how he's not going to play, and he's obviously proving now that he's still got it, and there's no worries. He's going to be Andrea Pirlo, I hope, and go for the next 5 years as a United player. But we'll see. I give him my man of the match for the game today. Moving onwards to the next game, just a quick preview for the Sunderland match at home on Saturday. Should be an easy win, shouldn't it?
It should be, but I mean...
I'm sorry, have you seen Sunderland this season?
Yeah, I have seen Sunderland, but I mean, as you know, I'm a fan of Dick Advocaat. I think
You're an advocate of Dick Advocat.
I'm an advocate of Dick Advocat. I think he's a great manager, and he's just not getting the performances out of the lads at the moment in Sunderland, and hopefully that continues through this weekend. But I mean, he's this type of guy that, he could light a fire upon him right before we roll into town, and then they go out there and smack us in the mouth. It's the Premier League. Anything can happen. I am predicting a United win, but I think it's going to be a bit closer of an affair than most people do.
Yeah, I mean, I can see where you're coming from. I mean, anything can happen in the Premier League, but the luck of the teams from the North East at the moment. I mean, that being said, a team from the North East in Newcastle who's absolutely abysmal so far. They got knocked out at home to Sheffield Wednesday today, and they came to Old Trafford and nicked a point. So I admit that, that could happen, but the form we're in and the form they're in combined, I just don't see it. I think it's going to be comfortable, 2-3-0 hopefully. I'd love it if the floodgates opened and we just, racked up our goal difference a bit, having, found the goals in the last couple of games. But, they're going to be compact, they're going to make themselves difficult to beat, and we're just going to pick the lock, and I have faith in us in the form we're in. But that just about wraps up the video for today. And before we, sign off, I just thought I'd leave with a bit of a serenade to the man himself, who has really he's laughed at the price tag that he's come with. Anthony Martial was bought 36 million. It's rising to 58 million by the looks of it. Hopefully he will be a Ballon d'Or winner in his time at United. And his composure in front of goal just makes me think of one thing. And with that, I think it's time to end the MU review for this game. We'll be back on Saturday. Cheers for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all that nonsense. I doubt anyone's watching, but if you are, do me a favour. It'll make my day better. And we've been the Neils, and we'll catch you later.